Sometimes the most powerful stories aren't the ones shouted from the rooftops. They're the quiet ones, right? The ones whispered in the dark, hidden in the little details of a single, simple photograph. So let's dive into this one frame together and see what story is waiting for us in the shadows.
Okay, take a look at this. At first glance, yeah, it's just a dark picture of some water. But I want you to look closer with me. We're going to go on a little visual investigation here. And this frame, well, it's our only clue. So the real question is, what story is it actually trying to tell us?
The first thing that hits you is the feeling of it all, isn't it? It's not just dark, it's quiet. You can almost feel the stillness. And all this darkness, it creates this real sense of mystery, this mood where, honestly, anything could be happening, or absolutely nothing at all.
So, be honest, when you first looked at this, where did your eyes go? Did they jump straight to those little pinpricks of light way out in the distance, trying to find something to hold on to? Or were you kind of drawn into the deep, vast darkness that surrounds everything? It's a fascinating question, really, because your answer says a lot about how we instinctively look for meaning, for a focal point, even when there's almost nothing there.
To really get what's going on here, we can't just glance at it. We need to actually travel through the image. So let's break it down nice and easy, starting with what's closest to us and then working our way back.
So, our journey begins right here, in the immediate foreground. Before we can even explore the distance, we have to figure out where we are. So, what's the very first thing that separates us from the rest of the scene? It's this railing. See how stark and geometric it is, especially against that soft, dark background? It immediately makes you ask a question. Is it a barrier that's keeping us out, or is it a viewpoint, maybe like a balcony, inviting us to look? Either way, it plants us firmly in the position of an observer, someone just standing on the edge, looking out into the night.
Okay, so our eyes have crossed that first line. Let's move our focus past the railing and into that deep, dark middle ground. What's actually happening on the surface of that water?
Well, the water isn't just an empty black space. It's a surface, and it's acting like this dark, kind of imperfect mirror. See how it catches the reflections of those lights in the distance, but they're all smeared and distorted? That tells us the water is calm, but it's not perfectly still. It's subtly alive,
All right, our little journey now takes us to the farthest point we can see. Let's look past the water to those lights. They're small, for sure, but they're clearly deliberate. What do you think they suggest is over there, on the other side?
This is where the story really starts to build. That distant shore is just a suggestion, a hint. We see what look like streetlights, which means there's probably a road, maybe a park, or a town. There's a whole world of human activity happening over there, and we're totally separated from it. We can see its light, but we can't see any of the details.
So, we've traveled through the space. Now let's talk about the main character in this entire story, light itself. Seriously, in a photograph this dark, every single point of light is like a word in a sentence, and every shadow is a deliberate pause. Okay, so let's put it all together. We have the railing that gives us our viewpoint. We have the watery reflections that show us there's movement. We have those isolated lights that promise another world. And of course, the overwhelming darkness that's holding all the secrets. These are our building blocks. Now, with all these pieces, we can start to do what our brains just love to do. We can build a story. What is the narrative that this image is implying? What happens when we start to fill in the blanks? Just look at this comparison. On one hand, the photo shows us a quiet scene, a few lights, some calm water. Pretty simple. But think about everything it hides. The city behind those lights, the people, the cars, the noise, even why we might be standing here alone, just looking out. The hidden part of the story is almost always bigger than the part we can actually see. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? This photograph isn't just a picture, it's an invitation. It gives you the setting and the mood, but it asks you to write the plot. Are you feeling lonely, peaceful, curious? The image basically becomes a mirror for whatever story you bring to it. So here's the takeaway. This whole exercise, it isn't just about a single photo. It's really a way of seeing the world. What if the most interesting things aren't what's right in front of you, but what's just out of frame, waiting in the shadows? What stories have you been missing?